What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Dennis Nderitu live at Nderitu Basketball HQ. Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm excited. We're here. It's the Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. Road to the finals is pretty heated. I mean, I'm so excited with the matchups. On the west side, you've got the Clippers versus the Suns. Then in the east side, we got the Bucks versus the Hawks. You know them Clippers, man. Fought hard in Game Five. They were down 3-1. They cut the lead. They cut the deficit to only 2 games. They only need 2 games to win. And the Suns need only 1 game. So I picked Clippers in 7 to win. So I still stick by that because I feel like the Clippers, they have what it takes. They have what it takes. They've been on both sides. They've been up 3-1 and blew it. Now this time they're down 3-1. They have to handle their business. I still pick the Clippers. I'm not sure about the Suns, but okay. I would say I would pick the Suns, but hey, I mean the way the Clippers have just matched up with them. I mean, if Game Five is the same trajectory and playoff P just comes back and just balls out the way he's supposed to, I feel like the Clippers in 7. I predicted that. I just said Clippers in 7. I must stick by that. And the Bucks versus Hawks. I remember in the last stream I said, the Bucks, they're not gonna get in that game 1 funk again. And I said Bucks in 5. Game 2 and game 3 they came in dominant. Put their foot put their foot down you know put their foot down the Hawks' necks. The Hawks were looking like straight up chicken, barbecue chicken right there. The Hawks had no answer. Then Trey Young, his ankle is getting in the way of them Hawks, and I don't want to say that's an excuse or anything, but I don't know. I don't know, man, about the Hawks. At this point, I just know that them Hawks, they don't stand a chance against them Bucks. The Bucks, they were here. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals at some point, especially in the 2019. They were there in 2019. They got stopped by the Raptors. I don't feel like the Hawks are here to stop them. They don't have the manpower to stop a team like the Bucks. We need Chris Middleton to drop those numbers. We need him to drop 40 plus points. Be that guy. We need Giannis to drop 30 and 15 rebounds. 30 and 15. We need Chris Middleton to drop at least 40. Yeah, I mean that's the only way. I mean Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday. We need those guys, to come in and just show up pretty well. They just need to play out. And I feel like I'm confident with this team the way they have played. So without further ado, let me just get into it real quick. So let me just start with the Bucks versus Hawks series. I know this game happened yesterday. The Bucks just came in and flat out beat the Hawks. And let me just go through the matchup summary real quick. So the Bucks outscored the Hawks 30-17 in the final frame to close out the road win and take a 2-1 series lead. Chris Middleton led the Bucks with 38 points on 15 of 26 shooting, 11 rebounds. 11 rebounds, 7 assists. Giannis Antetokounmpo followed up with 33 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Bobby Portis added 15 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals, while Drew Holiday logged in 6 points, 4 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. So you can see Drew Holiday was there. He just tried to play his own game in his own unorthodox way, and it worked out pretty well for them Bucks. And meanwhile, Trey Young led the Hawks with 35 points on 12 of 23 shooting, 4 assists and a steal. Danilo Gallinari followed up with 18 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. John Collins tallied 13 points and 8 rebounds, while Kevin Huerter chipped in 11 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 blocks. So you can see all across the board. The Bucks just came in. The duel was set between Chris Middleton and Trey Young. Chris Middleton, 38 points, went toe to toe with Trey Young, 35 points. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 11 rebounds. Clint Capella, 11 rebounds. Drew Holiday beat Kevin Hart in the assist department, 12 assists to Kevin Hurter's 7. Got Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2 steals. Bojan Bogdanovic, 3 steals. Drew Holiday, 2 blocks. Kevin Hurter, 3 blocks. So you can see Drew Holiday. He didn't show much. He didn't show up big at the stat sheet, but he did what he had to do. He played 41 minutes, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 12 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. I mean, we need him to, defend and facilitate the offense. We don't require him to score as much. Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo, those are the guys who need to, score the ball, and that's what they mean to do. That's what they came to do, right? I mean, Giannis, Chris Middleton. I mean, especially in the fourth quarter, Chris Middleton, bro. I mean, you just did it, man. I just like Chris Middleton the way he just came in and played. Just played in pretty well. I like the way he played and just set the tone for this series. And I just want Chris Middleton to keep on playing like that because when he keeps playing like that, that's the only way the Bucks will be alive and the road to the finals will set in. He needs to play like that for game for the game 4 and game 5 so he can end the Hawks in 5 games. I stand by my statement. Bucks in 5. And I'm not gonna stop saying that. Bucks in 5, man. I mean that's the team, right? That's the team that's built for the finals. I don't believe in the Hawks. I mean Hawks inexperience, Trey Young, although he shimmies, I feel like the threes can be prevented if Drew Holiday especially is his primary defender. He can be able to stop him, and he should. So then, aside from the Bucks versus Hawks series, he got treated to you know Game 5 Clippers versus Suns. Heading into this game, the Clippers are down 3-1. There were speculations that the Suns are gonna finish them off. The beat writers, analysts said the Clippers are done. You know, I mean, no one believed in playoff P, but when you push playoff P back against the wall, this guy just came in, bounced back. I mean, give give credit to give credit to Paul George. I mean, although all the time he gets slandered every time, but this guy just does what he does. He just comes in, he just tries to play well, just tries to facilitate the offense. He just tries to play his game, and I don't think he's gonna get in that funk again because I mean the time that he goes to the playoffs and he doesn't perform pretty well. Is we saw this after his nasty leg injury in the 2017 playoffs. Got knocked out in the first round by LeBron James. It was a sweep, and yeah, man, I feel like then 2018 when he introduced the infamous playoff P quote. He said playoff P is his name. He's like, yeah, I ain't met playoff P yet, huh? Then reporters were just chuckling there. Then you know what happened? Donovan Mitchell got rid of Paul George, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony in the first round of OKC in 6 games. I mean, a rookie beat Paul George. Didn't go well. I mean, that was 2018. Got knocked out the first round by the Jazz, by the Donovan Mitchell led Jazz team. Then in 2019, you know what happened. Dame time. Damian Lillard ended them in 5 games in the first round. So playoff P had a pretty bad reputation, but the icing to the cake was 2020 when the Clippers went past the Mavs in the 2020 playoffs. Then you know what happened. They met the Denver Nuggets. At some point, they were up 3-1. And for some reason, the Clippers just blew that 3-1 lead. And the Clippers curse was again revisited. I mean, guys were saying that the Clippers couldn't make it past the second round. I mean, they were slandered too much. I mean, PG was on a mission for redemption in the 2020-2021 series season. As much as he was dropping, all-time stats in the regular season, people still didn't believe he had this chip on his shoulder. Guys kept on saying, PG, you have to show up. PG, you have to show up in the playoffs. We don't care about regular season. Anyone can post up ridiculous numbers in the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs, you need to show up. And yeah, man. So they went in the 2021 playoffs. They matched up with the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, he caught some flack, especially in the in the first round series of the Dallas Mavericks when he didn't play well. And Kawhi Leonard just carry wielded that team, and Paul George was his Robin, and they made it past the Mavs. Then we got the Jazz series. I mean, he did what he had to do. And if he had a bad game, NBA fans made sure they had to tell him that he had a bad game. And I mean, you know, Twitter just eviscerates Paul George, especially when they use the PG-13, pandemic P, way off P. I mean, they keep on using those epithets, those name calling. I mean, he just got into poor PG's head, and I just feel like he just tuned out all the noise, and he just focused on the game, and that's what he's doing right now. I mean, based on the stats that he put up, I mean, PG in this game 5, he just showed up pretty well. I mean, I liked his play. Out of 40 minutes played, 41 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals. He shot 75% from the field, 50% from three, and 100% from the free throw line. This is the Paul George we know. This is the same Paul George that went toe to toe with LeBron James in the Eastern Conference Finals when LeBron James was in the Miami Heat. You know, when when in the Eastern Conference Finals, Miami Heat versus Pacers. It was a 7 game series. PG played very well for through game 1 to game 6, but game 7 he showed up pretty tiny with a 7 point game. I mean that was the closest that he got to the finals. And this year, he's been gifted that opportunity. He only has 2 games to close out the Suns, and for some reason, I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like the Clippers has what have what it takes to beat the Suns. And as much as I just want Chris Paul to make it to the finals, and I just want to see either Paul George or you know Chris Paul led, Devin Booker led Phoenix Suns make it to the finals. I just you want to see CP3 in the finals, but hey, sometimes I don't know. I just feel torn. Let the best team win. Let the healthiest team win. And but for the East, I expect the Bucks to be in the finals. I don't expect anything less from them Bucks. They need to make it to the finals. That's one thing I came in and said, right? So let me just go through the summary for the Clippers versus Suns game. So just to give some context on what went down and what's supposed to go down, especially in game 6 and game 7. So the matchup summary reads: the short-handed Clippers held a 10-point lead through the first 12 minutes and still maintained a 7-point advantage at halftime. Los Angeles' ability to then add 10 points to its edge in the third quarter was critical to eventually win going away, forcing game 6. Paul George's 41 points, which he partly complemented with 13 rebounds, led the Clippers. Reggie Jackson, another key contributor, another key guy who just showed up pretty well. I just like Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson, sorry, Reggie Jackson's tally included 23 points and 5 rebounds. Marcus Morris' stat line included 22 points and 3 rebounds. DeMarcus Cousins, all guys forgot about Boogie Cousins, but I'm not giving up on Boogie Cousins. I'm not giving up on him. I feel like Boogie Cousins still has much left in the tank, and I feel like his injuries have held him back from a max contract from a title contending team. But I feel like if he's able to be in this roster and just be a key contributor off the bench, and for the Clippers, I feel like he's got a great case to end up in the Hall of Fame sometime if he wins a ring with these Clippers. So enough said. So Boogie Cousins' contribution included 15 points and 3 assists. Devin Booker's 31 points, which he partly supplemented with 4 rebounds, led the Suns. Chris Paul's night included 22 points and 8 assists. So Chris Paul was only 2 assists shy from a double double. Cameron Johnson's totals included 14 points and 4 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton generated a 10 point, 11 rebound double double that included one assist, one steal, and a block. So you can see all across the ball. PG's was all over the place, right? 41 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. He was only like 4 assists shy from a triple double. You know, PG led the Clippers in steals with 3 steals. Pat Bev one block. So I mean, PG led in 4 major statistical categories: points, rebounds, assists, and steals when it comes to the Clippers. So you can see this guy all across the board. So in this game, he led both teams, the Suns and the Clippers, in points and rebounds. So yeah, I mean, he just played pretty good. I just want to see Paul George just keep playing like this. I mean, this is the only way that this playoff P narrative can come to an end if PG just wheels this team to the finals. He needs redemption. I mean, Paul George needs to redeem himself by taking this Clippers team down 3-1 to the finals. That's the only way people are going to respect him. Just the same way, people respect a guy like, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Stephen Curry, Kevin Durant. He needs that respect. So the only way PG is going to get respect is by taking this Clippers team to the finals and actually, putting some monster stat line, especially in the finals. He needs to, for game 6 and game 7, I expect PG to drop at least 40 plus points, 30, 50 plus rebounds. That's what we need, right? You need that output from PG. I expect nothing less from PG. Those are the stats that I really ask from PG because he has what it takes to, you know, produce those stats. So I feel like PG he needs to do that. He needs to do that for his legacy. Legacy is very important, especially for players like PG. The slander and the media criticism, the respect. That's the only way. Winning game 6 and winning game 7, coming down from a 3-1 deficit. That is the only way a guy like PG will be able to, cleanse himself and be able to, make it to the finals. He needs to do that. He needs to make the finals and be able to, be on the same tier as a Kevin Durant, and also win the finals. If he's able to win the finals, that's well and good because he's gonna be mentioned in the same breath as a Kevin Durant, as a LeBron James, as a Stephen Curry, as a Klay Thompson. He's gonna be mentioned in the same breath because he's a champion. He has to be a champion. LA, the Los Angeles Lakers got the job done last year. My Lakers got knocked out in the first round, but hey, we need another Los Angeles team. I'm rooting for the Clippers, man. At this point, I just want the Clippers to win so bad. I just want them to win. Game 6, PG needs to show up. Game 7, I expect the same. PG needs to show up as well, drop a monster style. I don't care if it's a 50 point, 50 piece or something. 40 piece, 50 piece, whatever. Just will them to the win. Kobe style, Mamba mentality. He needs to do that. So that's what I can say about PG. But other players that also contributed to the success for the team, Marcus Morris Sr., he played 38 minutes, 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. He shot 56% from the field and 40% from three, 100% from free throw line. We need Marcus Morris to, shoot above 50%. Then we got Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson, 38 minutes played, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block. Shot 57% from the field and 57% from three. So you can see Reggie Jackson is a pretty good sidekick for PG, and he needs to drop such points. Kawhi Leonard is out, so we need a guy to step up, a role player to step up and help being the help the main star to will that team to the victory. We need that. Patrick Beverly, 30 minutes played, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. Shot 50% from the field, 25% from three. He needs to do that. Terrence Mann, another guy who, he's underrated. And he doesn't get the credit of he doesn't get enough credit. But Terrence Mann is one guy that I would really love to have on my roster. Especially coming off the bench. I will just slide him in the starting lineup anytime. I think Tyronn Lue just knew how to use his players pretty well because you have to know how to use your players pretty well so that you can be able to get that win. Use that 2-3 zone. They shut down the Suns in Game 3, and also, I mean, they need to do that. They need to do that. So I'm gonna be having my main man Moses coming up, and I've got some few topics lined up. That was just like you know that's the first thing I just wanted to do, and just give you a summary of what really happened and my expectations. But anyway, I just want to see PG just rise above his demons, rise above his playoff demons, the same way the great all-time greats like LeBron James rose his finals demons. He overcame his playoff demons when he went to the Miami Heat. He overcame his finals demons same way in Miami Heat. To expect Paul George, he showed flashes of success, especially when he was with the Pacers, and I just expect this guy to show out and just play hard, man. So without further ado, let me get my main man Moses in the stream. What up, bro?
Yo, what up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you pretty well. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Great. So
Great,
what are
man.
we saying?
I mean, bro, have you seen what the Bucks have done in Game 2 and Game 3, bro?
The Bucks have figured it out. That's all I can say about that. They have figured it out. We called it after game one. They needed to adjust, and they've done exactly that.
You remember Moses? This time I was referencing the time the Bucks matched up with the Celtics in 2019. Oh, the Celtics beat the Bucks in Game 1, right? Then
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Bucks went on to win Game 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the same thing, right? You know, Chris Middleton got unlocked in Game 1. I mean, just something just snapped. Game 2, Game 3, going off in the fourth quarter. Giannis just finding his just finding his rhythm. He just needs to play like that two more times in the finals. What you guys say about
Chris
that, bro?
Chris Middleton for me is like the go-to guy in the clutch moments for that team. I respect Giannis. Giannis is a top player, but if you're going to the crunch, when it's going to the crunch time and you're looking for someone to get you points, off the dribble, all kinds of points, or a three or a post up, you're looking at Chris Middleton. He's done it time and time again. Even that Celtic series, he was hitting clutch shots after clutch shot, and he's looking to do that again. This was an unlocking game for him. I mean, in the fourth quarter, I think he scored. What was it? I don't know if I'm 20 points. Did he score 20 points in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, yeah, yes, he
Yeah,
scored 20 points, man. I mean, Chris
in the
Middleton just
fourth
went
quarter.
off. And
Wow, it was,
that
it was
that's
amazing. I mean, Giannis also did his thing, but this was a Chris Middleton performance, kind of. You know, yeah, it was
yeah.
amazing by him.
I mean,
You know,
that's what we need right now. I mean, Chris Middleton needs to play like that for two more times, two more games to go to the finals. He needs to play like that. I just want him to play like that continuously even in the finals, so that the Bucks can be able to have a fighting chance. He's the number two guy, but sometimes I feel like he's the number one guy, and I feel like he needs to play that. He has to shoot. He can shoot. He can defend, but I feel like his scoring was evident, especially in the fourth quarter. I mean, pretty good, man. Pretty good.
I mean, I've never even seen a Giannis that kind of performance from Giannis, hitting shots all over the court, hitting the three ball. I mean, that's something that Chris Middleton is definitely capable of. It was nice to see him do it in such an important game for them. It was a game to see who would go 2-1 up. So it was very important, and for him to turn up, I think is we are looking at a Chris Middleton performance, and also in game 4 and onwards. There, I think they are going to close out the Hawks. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm probably looking at the Hawks are probably going to win one more game, because I think they really have some fight in them. Even in this game, it took up until the fourth quarter for them to actually lose the game, and it took that bizarre injury, or I don't know what it was, to Trae Young. It was an ankle sprain or something. But they have some fight
Yeah,
in them. I don't see them being brushed off easily.
yeah, man. I feel the same way, but it's I just want the Bucks to get get the Hawks out of the way. It's the finals. The only two games. I just want to see the Bucks in that, like, in the playoff bracket. Just want the Bucks in the finals. I don't. I mean, I just want to see them in the finals, bro.
This is the back series to lose. I mean, I don't know how they lose against this Hawks team. They've been here before. They've actually been trying to get the finals over and over again, and kind of failing. If the Hawks actually stop them from actually doing it this year, I don't know. I don't know what the organization is going to do, because they can't exactly blow up the team, because they just assembled Drew Holiday this season. But this is their time. This is their season. They should be this. It should be a slam dunk from here.
Like, let me just say to you, Giannis Antetokounmpo's last 8 playoff games. So the
Yeah.
first one, let me start: 33 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists; 25 points,
Okay.
9 rebounds, 6 assists; 34 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, one shy from a triple double; 40 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. Giannis again, 30 points, 17 rebounds, 3 assists. Giannis, 34 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Again,
Wow.
34 points, 12 rebounds,
Wow.
3 assists. Then the last one, 33 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists. Well, I mean, MVP numbers. I mean, what can you say? I mean, bro.
He's been going under the radar. I think we're just accustomed to him getting over 30 almost every game, and we're not like giving him his flowers at the moment. But it's been a really consistent performance by him. I mean, I'd like to see his numbers on the free throw. What are his number? What is his percentage on the free throw?
I mean,
That's something I'd be
my
interested in
G's,
seeing.
there were some reports that the Hawks are unhappy that the refs are not taking note of Giannis' free throw routine. I mean, Giannis has developed a routine in this postseason that was really annoying, especially when you watch the
Yeah.
games live. You- I
Yeah.
mean,
There,
okay,
there, there, there were
Giannis.
a couple of games where the other team was looking to like hack Yanis, because he was that bad from the free throw. But other than that, he's been doing MVP numbers. You're right. He's been very consistent, and it's we have to give him credit too for keeping the Bucks in the playoffs so far with his very consistent plays numbers.
I mean, so I mean, yo, Chris Middleton, I mean, that was an all time performance. I just liked it all the way through. I mean, Chris Middleton, 38 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 assists shy from a triple double, 15 of 26
Yeah.
field goal shooting, 6 or 12 from three, 50% from the three ball. So you can see this guy, bro. I mean, that
and he
perform. We
was
need
and he
we
was
need more.
struggling and he was struggling during the other games. He wasn't exactly on fire. He was kind of struggling. This was like a breakout game for him. So yeah, it was a great performance. Very good
My
performance
G,
by.
thi-
Mm,
this guy needs to
mm.
play consistently like this. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's
aside
capable
from
of
aside
doing it.
aside I mean, aside from Chris Middleton, playoff P. My God, playoff P.
Man, he came
Nothing
through.
needs to be said. No, nothing needs to be said, bro. Playoff P.
I mean,
41 points.
yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
what's
For
what's
me,
your what's your what's your
for
take
me,
on
I'm look.
playoff P?
My take on playoff
Yeah, go
P
ahead.
was I mean, I don't know what to say. Especially in the second half, he scored 30 points of his 41. in the second half. So he had only like 10 in the first half. So coming out in the second half when the crunch time in such an important game, he really showed up. He really showed out. I mean, no, regardless of how the series goes for the Clippers, no one should ever be talking about playoff P in any kind of like trolling type of manner. Because this guy is really showed out. He's really showed out, and credit also to the coach. The coach and the defense of the whole Clippers, because they were missing Zubaks, so they went small in this game, and everyone was looking at Nderitu to kind of torch them. But the way they played defense in that game, it was so fantastic. And credit to Tyronn Lue, because for me, my playoff P had a very good game. But for me, I'm looking at Tyronn Lue. I'm like, wow, this is one hell of a coach. Guys were talking crazy about him when he was coaching LeBron, saying, it's LeBron's team, LeBron's the one coaching, and all of that nonsense. But with this team, Tyronn Lue is actually showing his pedigree, and just for me, he's really surprised me. It was a very good performance by the whole team, especially defensively, to kind of stifle the Suns. I don't know if you noticed this. They were playing kind of a zone. It was like a 2-1-2
They
kind of zone.
they
Did you
played
notice
the
that?
system. Yeah, I noticed it. Actually,
Yeah,
wanted to mention it. Like this
yeah,
time, especially, I saw this in game three and also in game five. They're using a 2-3 zone. We really
yeah.
it really threw off. It really threw off, especially Chris Paul. Chris Paul, he likes to put. There's this punting.
Come in.
Like, there's this there's
Yeah,
this jump. There's this jumper that he uses off the screen. Then, I mean
yeah,
that
yeah,
that that player, like, but I mean, Tyronn Lue just used that 2-3 zone pretty well, executed pretty well. You know, um, if it's and also if it's a Zubac, just to mention, I mean that big guy, man, he really defensively and also offensively, he was running out the fast break. He just made sure he just running out the floor, so he just did what he had to do. I mean, and Terrence Mann also, I mean, they just play pretty well. So
yeah. And also another player helping Paul George is Reggie Jackson. He's having one hell of a
of
of
course,
a of a series. He was fantastic.
I
He
mean,
was fantastic, coming up with 23 points. Yeah, it really helped the cause with the Clippers, because they were really looking at another guy actually performing, and this time, the rest of the players looking at didn't really score. Nicholas Batum didn't do a lot, so it was up to Reggie Jackson to have a good game, and also Marcus Morris. So it looks like with the Clippers team, they're always rotating. Paul George is always going to have a good game, always try and get like over 28 points a game. So it's actually a game with the Clippers. It's actually a numbers game with who's going to come through with over 20 this time around, because they're always switching up. Reggie Jackson has been consistent, but like the other game, Lukenad had a good game, but Batum had a good game. This guy doesn't have a good game. They keep switching it up. So credit to Reggie Jackson for being consistent, especially since they don't have Kawhi and we don't know when he's coming back. But Reggie Jackson can be that number two guy for them.
yeah, man. So on the online, we got Moses Opondo. He's joined the stream. Moses, you're up. The floor is yours, man.
What have I missed?
We're just talking about the Bucks versus Hawks series, the game two and game three, and also the Clippers versus Suns series. What do you think about the Suns versus Clippers series? What you think about game five, bro?
Uh, it was a great game by the Clippers. As expected, I remember I told in the previous space meeting, I told these guys that most likely Suns were going to win game four. But despite that, I wasn't going to rule out the Clippers. Paul George has really played fantastically, and I think it worked well for him that, like when they were down and people thought that they were going to be knocked out yesterday, I played so well in that game. So I think this game most likely there's a high possibility that it may go to game seven, but I'm taking Suns in six for that series.
Playoff P is back. He wants to go to the finals. He wants to go to. He
Uh,
doesn't care about the Suns. He wants to go to the finals for his legacy.
no,
He this
for me, I think that for casuals have been too harsh on Paul George. I think he also brought this to himself based on the comments he made last year, that playoff P is a different guy. Yet when the time came for him to shine against the Nuggets, he shrunk. But Paul George, if you guys have been watching basketball for many years, I think Paul George under in Indiana Pacers during the Frank Vogel days, Indiana Pacers.
Yes, sir.
That team used to take LeBron and Miami Heat. They loaded Miami Heat to Game 7. So I think for me, injuries slowed down Paul George. The shoulder injuries had slowed him down for the last nearly those between 2016, 2017. He really had bad injuries, but he's picking up back to his early days. Paul George, very great defensively, and so good when you need him.
I mean, I also mentioned this point earlier in the stream. I mean, casual fans will not understand how polarizing PG was in 2012, 2013, and 2014. 2012, PG faced Miami Heat in the second round. They got beat by 6 games. Then in 2013, they took a Miami Heat, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh in their primes to 7 games. Then also, 2014, they pushed the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals also to 6 games. So you can see PG peaked, but that leg injury that he got in the Team USA scrimmage. Then you got the nagging shoulder injuries really stifle the progression of a PG. So I mean, people just slander him because of the comments he made in 2018 about playoff P. They didn't understand the real playoff P. I mean, the real playoff P was in the Pacers, you know that. So I mean, play PG. This is not a performance that I can say it's surprising because I expect this from PG. I mean, regular season sometimes he drops like 44 points, 45, 48. He's capable of dropping these numbers, but the problem is like in the postseason where he's required to drop these numbers, he doesn't do that. So he gets a lot of flack for that. So that's what I gotta say about that. What you think, guys?
For me, I'm thinking with Paul George, it's going to be very hard for the Clippers too, because they have 2 more games to go. It's going to be very hard for them because the Suns are just looking to close out with only 1 game. The Clippers have to do what they did in this previous game 2 more times, so it's going to be very hard for them to actually do that. And like Moses said, yeah, the Suns were favorites, especially with Zubac out. Everyone was expecting the Nderitu to just come out and have a big game, but they really stifled him. I don't know if he's going to have an awful game for like their game 6 and game 7, because he's actually been a good player in the playoffs. So it's going to be very hard to say Clippers are going to end up winning it. But we've seen Tyronn Lue pull up surprises over and over again, and Chris Paul has this unlucky streak of always giving up 3-1 leads with these previous teams. So if history dictates, yeah, Tyronn Lue might surprise us. But I can't exactly call the Clippers. I can't call this a Clippers win in this series. They
I
have a
mean,
lot to do.
I still believe. I see. Okay, I mean, okay, it's 2 games. It's a tall ask. That's the same thing we said about Denver last year. Like the Clippers are up 3-1. They won Game 5 with Jokic. I actually never picked the Denver Nuggets to beat the Clippers, but I mean they did it, and the rest is history. But sometimes I just look back and I just try to try to sit down, try to rationalize the situation, try to see if there's a chance if PG can redeem himself. But I don't know. It's all it's
That's
all it's
that
all
right
up
there.
again.
That right there was a Doc Rivers casting, because Doc Rivers has this like he gets 3-1 up and he just keeps losing up. So I don't know. I thought that time during that period the Clippers were like on a Doc River casting thing. I don't know. I
But
don't feel. Yeah.
again, you're right. You're right in the root that nowadays in the current basketball, you can never write team out despite being 3-1 down. But I think 2016 was the greatest choking by Golden State Warriors. But remember, the team they choked against was LeBron and pick Kyrie Irving. And despite even that,
And
that's
also
a
Kevin
really
Love.
that Cavaliers team was healthy, and they were bailed out by that Draymond Green. I think he was suspended in 1 game, and that
Game
one
five, game five.
gave them a momentum as well. And if you look again last year again, Denver Nuggets, they had this run where they were going through and down, like against Utah Jazz, then against Spider. Remember, Spider was balling that series, but still Denver came back from
Yeah.
3-1 and they won because they're two players, Jokic and Murray, who are healthy, and Murray was clutch when you needed him. Then again, now in the next series, now against the Clippers, again they came down from 3-1 again, and it was again out of this one play by Jokic and Murray. For Clippers, for me, yet people tend to write off Kawhi Leonard impact, the injury, that maybe Clippers are playing better, but I still believe that even if you watch those first two games in Utah, Clippers had a great chance to win those games, and I'm really convinced that if that Kawhi Leonard, he could have closed those two games, and this series may have ended up in 5 games in favor of Clippers. So it's still at all asked to rely on Morris Senior and Reggie Jackson for 2 more games. Paul George, yes, he will still give you that 28 points there, 30 points there, but can you get that productivity from Reggie Jackson and Morris Senior and maybe Man for 2 more games, high pressure games? I'm not really convinced against this healthy Suns team, which are smelling an opportunity to get to the conference final for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, what I can say is I don't know. And sometimes I feel like this road to the finals. I mean, it's just wide open. You don't know. I don't know if sometimes you can feel like you can see like the Clippers are gonna turn it around. What if? Okay, let's just do a hypothetical. What if the Clippers just turn it around and win Game 7 and just go to the finals, right? What about that?
Before, in this both conference finals in the East and in the West, and before they even began, a lot of us were calling the finals that it's going to be Clippers versus the Bucks, because those were looking at the other teams, the opponents of these two teams. They were the less experienced.
True.
The Hawks are not really experienced, and the same thing with the Suns. So uh, for now, there's been a lot of twists, and now we are looking at the Suns being up, and on the other side, the Bucks are just trying to figure it out. The Hawks are really giving them a hard time. So at first, we were looking at experience, but with the Clippers and Suns game, the Clippers are obviously the more experienced team, but the Suns have a lot of firepower in them. They've got DeAndre Booker and Chris Paul. That's a lot of firepower right now, and the Clippers are always rotating with their firepower. This game, Reggie has a good game. The other game, Marcus Morris has a good game. Luke Kennard had a 0 point game in the previous game. Will he turn up in game 6? So there's a lot of uncertainty with the Clippers team. The Suns are kind of very consistent. They have this team. They play a lot of team basketball. They have the Chris Paul, who's an awesome leader. I think he's a better leader than Paul George. So yeah, it's very hard to call the Clippers reaching the finals for me.
But for me, I think for the Suns, they must win that game 6. They should avoid going to game 7, because game 7 is an open game. It's an open game,
Yeah,
and in an open game, high pressure intensity, Paul George and Reggie Jackson may win it for them. So Suns must do everything in their power to win that game 6, because
who
they
who
have
do
that.
who do you guys think? Who do you guys think is the better coach? Is it the Suns coach or the Clippers coach?
Of course, Tyloo has the ring to back it up. So I'll say Lou is slightly edged over Monty Williams, because they have demonstrated before that he has been able to win it when he was scouted out in 2016. I remember it took Cavaliers to 4 straight finals, despite having, of course,
Yeah.
people say LeBron James, but still, Lou was very great. I remember that 2018, it was the most team which I saw LeBron with limited talent, and despite all that, they were able to reach finals, and even game 1, the game 1 due to J.R. Smith game, they played so well. If they
I,
could
Yeah.
have only won that game 1, I don't know. I don't know. So I think
yeah,
Tyrese is
man.
a better coach, but Monte Williams has also proven unto us that he's also a very good coach. Although while he was coaching the Pelicans, it didn't end up well, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
and
was kind
also
of getting his
Moses,
stripes. Yeah.
and also Moses. In an earlier stream, that you mentioned that the Suns coach Monty Williams should have won the Coach of the Year award. I don't know why they gave it to Tom Thibodeau. I mean, Monty Williams
It was
it
vibes. It
was
was
just
vibes.
phenomenal this season. I mean,
you
I
It's
know,
mean,
you
vibes.
know the
he was
the
phenomenal this season.
Guys want New York Knicks to compete again, because they're missing that 1990s, the Ewings, the
yeah.
Knicks of 90s. So I think guys just felt that Knicks need to give it a chance, come back, But ideally, it was for me. I felt it was either Monty Williams or Quinn Snyder for regular seasons award.
The NBA loves the New York Knicks a lot. They would really love the New York Knicks to be a very good team, even though the New York Knicks keep letting them down. So it was just like, let's give this big, the New York Knicks is a, what do you say, big market team compared to the
True.
Suns. So yeah,
True,
so
true.
that's another factor that added to Tom Thibodeau actually winning it. I think the Suns have done a lot with their actually reaching the finals with this very young team. That coach has proven he's the best coach this season. I wish they would have given the award probably around this period, uh, so that we can see how far the Suns have reached with Monte Williams, because he's
It's a
actually
regular.
done a very
It's a
good job.
regular season award.
Yeah, I know. But still, Suns reached farther than the New York Knicks. New York Knicks didn't in the standings. The New York Knicks didn't like finish above the Suns. If you look at the numbers,
But
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think I think I think I think the idea was that Suns, if you could see them during the bubble, they won 8 straight games, and guys, and they added CP3. So guys expected that they were going to be above 500 team, above average team. For New York
Yeah.
Knicks, based on the roster, even for me, I didn't expect a lot from them when season was starting because Randall before this season wasn't a player you could rely on. Maybe as a 6 man, maybe, but not as the star of the team. And then the rest of the roster were young guys like RJ Barrett was coming up, the second season. Or remember the first one was a cut season. Then they had this, they've drafted the Quinley, and now they added some few veterans. So I couldn't really say that people expect so much from Knicks. So it was really amazing to see them that they're able to reach that top four in the Eastern Conference final. Remember, Eastern was really loaded this year. It was before the injury struck the major players. If you started the regular season, East with the Boston Celtics, with Smart, Brown, Tatum. If you looked at Nets, of course, then Philadelphia Sixers, guys were expecting them to come back. Then you looked at Miami hit the previous finals running. Then you looked at Bucks. So Eastern Conference guys expected this was they were going to be the first 16. Then maybe now the remaining teams down there. Then suddenly the Knicks, of course, based on fate, they were able to get that number 4. So I think Tom did so well, but I still felt that Monty Williams had overachieved due to the inexperience you've spoken about.
So,
Yeah. So
what are you saying,
yeah.
Derito? Yeah, what are you
I
saying
mean,
about it?
I just feel like the Suns underrated team. I never okay. They just turned it around this season. The second seed. I mean, Monty Williams just took the keys to the franchise. They traded for CP3. Devin Booker's game elevated. DeAndre Ayton's game elevated. And one thing I can tell you guys about let me just tell you guys about this 2018 draft, which has Luka Doncic, Trey Young, and DeAndre Ayton. There's just one guy who was drafted within the top selections, Marvin Bagley. I mean, these three guys, DeAndre Ayton,
Sacramento is
Luka
Sacramento.
Doncic, yes, they're making Marvin Bagley look bad because Marvin Bagley went number 2 overall, right? I mean, Marvin Bagley also stated in the public domain on reports that he doesn't care about the other guy's success. So, I mean, when a guy's on your draft class and you're selected, like you're the top guys who are selected in that draft class, they're shining and you're not shining and you're selected among them, you have to feel some type of way. What you guys think about that Marvin Bagley situation? Actually, he wants to be traded.
He's
He's
just he's
demanding
just
it, like he's
unlucky.
asked
Just
for.
unlucky
The Knicks have
because
to be like cast or something. The Knicks, I mean the Kings, the Sacramento
Sacramento
Kings. They
Kings. Huh?
just keep. Who was their last big player to draft? They keep like I
They
don't know, drafting bombs every year over and over. De'Aaron Fox was the last good player
I
they
mean,
drafted. I
No,
don't
De'Aaron
know what
Fox,
they're doing.
this player they drafted last what's
Tyrese
his name?
Halliburton, that rookie.
Yeah,
Tyrese
Halliburton has
Halliburton is
really
the
been
rookie.
good.
The
Loki,
pretty yes.
Halliburton has
I
been good,
mean,
but I think Sacramento Kings, as you see many years of tanking, I think they can mess up a franchise if they're not careful.
and
Because I
also
remember
bad
even
decision
Sixers.
making.
Yeah, Sixers. You see, Sixers. There's a time when the league had to intervene because they're just tanking every the process. That's the name where
The
the process
the
came,
the
Yeah.
Sa-
and they're just getting
it was
unlucky,
Sam
getting
Hinkie.
unlucky. So I think
I
you have sometimes, like, you have talked about Booker coming out this season, but for me, if you've been watching the NBA for the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years, Booker was really balling in Suns, but the team was really bad. So guys were not paying attention. People were just saying this guy is just start padding. And so finally, when Bua now has been able to get a better coach, better roster, and of course a leader in CP3, now guys are really, oh, Kumbe Buka has been a good player. But if you go back to the last 4 years, Buka's numbers has always been good. He has been playing so well, but now the team tanking hasn't helped him. Now the same thing is happening in Sacramento, where DeAndre Fox, guys are saying this guy may not even be top 20 point guy. But if you have seen Fox, Fox is a very good player. And you're now mentioning
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley. Again, Bagley. Bagley, if you look at his class, Ayton is doing so well. Doncic is doing so well. Young is doing so well. Yet this guy is just there speaking in social media instead of working on his game. So I think Sacramento Kings, if they're really a serious franchise, even Luke Walton should not be a coach in the coming season. They should have sacked him. That
Yeah.
Yes.
guy, I can't.
I
Just live
mean,
on the
what
fame of his dad.
Moses, let me just interject a
Yes.
bit. I
Yeah.
mean, the Suns, oh no, not the Suns. I mean, the Sacramento Kings have been making bad decision after bad decision. They signed an aging Harrison Barnes to an $88 million contract. They're refusing to extend Rashawn Holmes. You know, Rashawn Holmes is the same position as Marvin Bagley. I would actually pick Rashawn Holmes over Marvin Bagley in the
All
Sacramento
right.
Kings franchise. I mean, that's how bad it is, right? Buddy Hield, they got him that extension. Buddy Hield once out. The 3-point champion once out. I mean, that's a problem in the franchise. I mean, it's
True.
so poorly run. They're wasting De'Aaron Fox. And sometimes I feel like, if De'Aaron Fox contract is up, he should, he's gonna be a restricted free agent. He should go and seek other teams, because I feel like his talent is gonna get wasted when he signs an
No,
extension after
just
his
take the
rookie
money.
deal.
Just take the money, but take the money.
I mean, he needs to
Sacramento,
get away from
Sacramento,
Sacramento.
You should
Sacramento
just
is
take the
going to
money.
throw
Probably
is
Sometimes you
going
yes.
to
just have
throw the
to
bag.
consider future.
Sacramento is going to throw the bag at De'Aaron Fox because they will recognize if they lose De'Aaron Fox. I mean, who else do they have? Harrison Barnes. I don't know what they were thinking over there. Maybe he's a very good vet, but I don't think
But that
he's an
money
all
is too
star.
much.
Yeah, he's not. That
That
was
money
all
is too
star money,
much.
and he's not exactly an all star. Plus,
No,
the
I
other
think I
mistake they
think
made was with Luke Walton as their coach. I don't think that guy is like NBA coach. He's not really an
he's
NBA coach.
not.
And
He's riding
and and,
he's
and
riding off that wave with the Warriors, but he's not really because
He
there
should
was
just be
that
an
period
assistant
where he
coach.
was for the
Moses,
Warriors.
Moses,
He's
let me
yeah.
add on. Let me add on just something about Sacramento. You see Bogdan
Okay.
Bogdanovic, who's playing for the. You see Bogdan Bogdanovic is playing
Hawks.
for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
off season, he was a restricted free agent, and the Sacramento Kings refused to match contracts with the Atlanta Hawks. That's why he went and walked. He was a restricted free agent. That guy walked away. I mean, the Kings
It
refused
was
to
a sign.
give
It was a
that
sign and
guy
trade, huh?
money. No, it wasn't a sign and trade. He walked. I mean,
No, it was a sign. It was a sign and
the
trade.
wait. Okay,
Yeah. So remember, it
what
was
happened
leaked.
was
It
this.
was it was supposed to join
Yes.
the Bucks. Then it was leaked before it was confirmed by the
Oh
league.
yeah, yeah,
Remember
yeah, yeah.
that
Oh yeah, sorry.
Shams
It
and
was a sign and trade,
Woj
but
bomb. The night
bro,
was cancelled, so he
listen.
had to go to another team.
I understand it was a sign and trade, but the Kings refused to match. He was a restricted free. You mean restricted means your team can put up an offer
I
and other
understand.
teams can put
Understand.
up an
Understand.
offer, right? Sacramento Kings didn't put up an offer. They just made the sign and trade happen. I mean, they didn't want to keep him. They just want to, put him away. I mean
But
that's a
it's but you
franchise.
see now
It's poorly run.
you see the thing is that the thing that is that Sacramento Kings they're on the rebuild, and in the rebuild sometimes it's very hard to get a very good coach like Monty Williams, who is willing to sacrifice his career to mess up his winning percentage. Look at, for example, the situation in Houston Rockets where Silas, yes, is an MLB coach, but you can't really judge him based on whatever has happened this first year, because this team has tanked. They have traded James Harden. They have taken bad contracts. They have traded everyone they have. So sometimes it's very hard to get a very good coach who's willing to work with you through that rebuilding process. But for Sacramento, I think they worst choice was appointing Luke Walton as a coach, because that team has regressed. And the same way you are saying that, you see, when team is now tanking and rebuilding, most likely they're not going to offer contracts to the players who deserve it, because already they have Barnes, who's already eating that 88 million. So if you give Bogdan again, it becomes another Barnes situation. So you're going to have two poor contracts in two players.
And also,
And you
and
see that
also,
situation
and also, they are on
it's very
Fox.
hard to come out of it. Eh?
Yeah,
So, for
I
example, if you look
mean,
at Reggie Jackson, do you know Reggie Jackson, the way he was playing in Detroit at Pistons? You couldn't know this is the same Reggie
yes.
Jackson now balling in Clippers, because I think because this team was for many years they were just tanking and below the average team. So players like Reggie Jackson, who was a top pick in his draft, suddenly was just playing like a veteran, a minimum. Yet he was earning a huge wages. So you see, he sort of a buyout, and you can clearly tell that Reggie Jackson had talent, but now this guy, maybe Barnes, if Barnes get a better situation, he can buy out his contract and maybe join another team which is in the running for maybe a championship contender.
I mean, I mean that situation is just it's just a messy situation. I remember there's some hinky days where the the Sixers were tanking. I mean, they were literally losing games just to get them draft picks. Then they fired some hinky. Elton Brand came in. I mean, the whole Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, they drafted two stars. I mean, it's the
Marcus
same
Fools. We are not
situation.
speaking about Marcus Fools.
That's also about Marcus Fultz, right? Danny Ainge finessed the Sixers by
Yeah.
swapping the first pick and the third pick, right? When
Yes.
they swapped the first pick to the third pick. Jason Tatum went to the Celtics. Jason Tatum was supposed to be drafted by the the Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers.
But now he is supposed to be drafted by the Sixers, right? Instead of Markel
And
Fultz.
even Lakers bypassed him.
Yes,
Yeah.
they picked Lonzo. They picked up Lonzo Ball, right? But
Yeah.
now the thing that is biting the Sixers is they're seeing Jason Tatum being the star that he is. But I don't feel like even if Jason Tatum was drafted by the Sixers don't have the coaching staff to groom talent. I don't feel
Mike
like they
Brown
have.
was a poor
If
coach, huh?
they had, if they had, yes, if they had talent, Brett Brown was a poor coach. That's why he got fired.
Brett
I
Brown was
mean,
a poor coach.
if they had the talent to build players, a guy like Ben Simmons will have develop a
Made
good jumper,
progress.
made progress. I mean, Joel Embiid wouldn't be getting injured, and he's not playing his usual self. He's supposed to be banging down low in the paint, not stretching to the perimeter. That's the issue. The Sixers
Yeah,
don't know how
true.
to develop talent. That's why Ben Simmons costed them in the game 7 with the Hawks. So I mean that in the whole Hawks series, Ben Simmons,
But let me ask
it's
you:
a
do you
problem.
think it's easy to get a new coach who is outside these known NBA coaches? Because for me, I think this is the first time where I'm seeing new franchises for the last 2 years taking at least a trial in a new coach. For example, Celtics have gone for a new and tested and tried guy. If you look at Portland Trail Blazers, have given the keys to a new guy. Which other team again? So I think
They
before the
just on KDs
before
with the Mavs.
yeah, but before then, most of these franchises usually just doing rotation. Like this guys leave this franchise, join this other one. So someone like Doc Rivers, I think after that Clippers situation, he should have taken like a break and maybe become a commentator like Jackson and Van Gundy, because
Van Gundy, yeah.
yeah, I think maybe these old coaches, they are poor in maybe developing talents. Maybe they're used to the old guys who, you see, the old veterans guys, they had that mentality, that winning mentality, and maybe these young guys, they need someone who can help them develop their game, encourage them, motivate them differently. Because I remember Doc Rivers made a mistake during the regular season when he was being questioned about Ben Simmons, about jumper, not taking jump shots, and he said that anyone who's questioning Ben Simmons doesn't understand the game. And now suddenly the same thing which was being questioned in the regular season has now come to bite him. Yet, if you look at the Bucks, despite me not trusting Budenholzer, at least they decided now during this regular season to work on their schemes in preparation for the postseason, rather than chasing that number one seed. Then now you failed the way you've been failing for the last 2 years. So I think that was a better approach by the Bucks organization for this last regular season, and of course luck has also worked into them. But now they're in the finals.
Like for me, Doc Rivers represents the old coaches.
True.
Is old coach is very stubborn. Is known for being very stubborn. That's you cannot lose you cannot be known for losing a bunch of 3-1 leads series and not be known for being stubborn. So for me, that's what I'm looking at. Like the same thing, the handling of Ben Simmons, and they're just adjusting his games and just adjusting his games. Because if something is not working, and for him to be able to blow all these leads over and over again, he doesn't want to switch it up. He doesn't want to change it up. He's done that before with the Clippers, and he's just done that with the Sixers. So yeah, you're right. So for me, even at the moment, I'm thinking he just needs to take a break and do something else. And because there's like a new crop of coaches coming through. We've seen with Monty Williams, and a bunch of other new coaches. So for him, I don't know. I don't know what his future is like. It's if the Sixers are smart, they'll just part ways with him.
The same thing with this coach was sacked by the Mavericks, and of course, he has joined the Indiana Pacers. But you could tell
Yeah.
that
Rick
as
Carlisle.
him also was he was also very stubborn, because he refused to readjust to make adjustment during that first series against the Clippers, despite having the advantage. And these are the coaches who maybe they're still convinced that whatever the schemes are running 2011 may still work. Because 2011, if you watch that series, Nowitzki was really balling. And of course, Nowitzki was a leader who was ball for nearly 10 plus years. So he had the experience as well. If you look at this Dallas Mavericks versus Clippers series, I think Doncic failed to realize that you need your team, the role players to win a game. Because if you overwork yourself, your energy is going to run out in a 6-7 game series. So it was the role of the coach to pump that on Doncic's head that, look, young man, I know you are shooting well. Suddenly you are shooting well. You are a very good perimeter shooter. Yet you've been an average shooter during the regular season. But despite all that, you need to trust your players. And you could see that suddenly as the series was getting on, Christos KP Porzingis suddenly he lost his form, because how can you turn a big man going to a corner waiting for corner threes? Then you expect him to
Sure.
defend. So this
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
suddenly he just loses sight of the game.
That's a very that first of all, that's a very hard shot to ask of someone, especially KP. They should have what should have done. They should have looked for easy shots for him, probably closer to the
True.
rim, kind of mid range. So for him, so for you're right on the Luka Doncic part. He wants to take over games. He has the ability, obviously, but you can't do it. For the full quarters from game one up to game seven. It is very tiring for everyone. Even LeBron James recognizes that. So for the coaching, I think Luka Doncic has a lot of power in Dallas. I don't know. They are recognize he is the guy there. They don't want to upset him. They just want to make him happy. Because for me, even me, I'm looking at that series. He just needed to adjust. He just needed to trust his teammates more. You're actually right on that. Because you don't win game one up to game seven on your own first quarter till fourth quarter. And he was trying to do that. That was clearly what he was trying to do, and they weren't telling him otherwise, and they died by the sword. Rick Carlisle recognized that Doncic probably has a lot of power in me. I should probably move on. Yeah, I think they're just trying to appease Doncic, especially with their leader Mark Cuban is very maverick, and I think yeah he's playing a part with Luka Doncic having a lot of power there. So
He's
yeah, that's what's
a
happening over
handsome
there.
guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy,
Yeah.
but Rick
I
Carlisle is a
mean,
good coach.
I hope Jason Kidd will be strong on Luka Doncic, because I remember recently I had this Richard Jefferson conversation where I was saying in a podcast that guys were saying that LeBron 2018, yet it was Ty Lue in 2016 who was really taking LeBron head for head. Like he has a very high IQ, so he could understand the schemes by LeBron. But despite all that, he could face LeBron and look, dude, you're not going to win game playing like this. Or you're not going to win game you guy waiting for. Because I think for a very good player, you must understand when your team needs you to take over, or when your team needs you to open the floor for them. So I think he was saying that in the first like 3-4 games, LeBron was really not taking the game heads on. So Tyloo really challenged him, and that's what maybe worked out for well in that comeback, where now LeBron decided to take over the game with Kyrie. So saying that sometimes you need a coach who can get into the head of the player without fearing any repercussion. And maybe that's what had happened for Rick. Rick maybe realized that I can't handle this young man, this young dude. So either let me just run away because I've tried. And maybe my Cuban, and they have this guy who's a gambler, like a professional gambler, who's also giving advice using his analytics. So that Mavericks organization looks to be chaotic, but we'll see.
Yeah, true. I feel like okay, Rick Carlisle just needed to go because I feel like his schemes they're pretty outmatched when they play with the Clippers twice. Actually, the Dallas Mavericks have been beat by the Clippers twice in a row in the
Twice, eh?
first round. So I feel like yes,
True.
in the not 20, 2020 and this 2021
2020.
20 last year they met in the first round. The Clippers beat them in 6 games, but this year they beat them in 7 games. So I feel like the game plans and the offensive and defensive sets that they're running. I mean, Rick Carlisle just did everything he had to do. So I mean, it was just time he just left. So yeah, that's what I gotta say. Then oh yeah, and also in other news, you remember I
Yes.
talked with Moses about this in another stream. Um, Scottie Pippen is back again, and he has some uncharitable things. Moses, you remember? You see, the last
Yeah, I
time
Selling his
he
remember.
took
books.
shots at he took shots at Kevin Durant, right? He said that Kevin Durant is not a LeBron James. He can't win. He can't carry a team. And now this time, he's back again. And I quote:
Phil Jackson.
Scottie Pippen says Phil Jackson's decision to give Tony Kukoc the last shot in 1994 was racially motivated, and MJ's pass to Carr was for the cameras via Dan Patrick's
Oh
show.
my God.
Bro, guys, what do you have to say
Come
about that?
on.
About Scottie Pippen? What's wrong with Scottie
That's
Pippen?
crazy. That's crazy. I mean, this guy is just ruining his legacy. Same thing Paul Pierce was doing. Why talk about this right now? Why talk about stuff that happened? I don't know what 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. It's so unnecessary for him to come out like this. I don't know what problems he's having with Phil Jackson, but this is getting out of hand. Phil Jackson has coached some of the best players, Kobe. So for him to go with the race card, I don't know what his motives is there with Phil Jackson. I don't know what his problem is with Phil Jackson, but this was so uncalled for. I mean, Phil Jackson has coached Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Jordan himself.
Michael,
So for him to say that, yeah, he was looking for was Kukoc because he's white to take the last shot. I mean, Phil Jackson's team have been built out by a lot of black players, so I don't know why he's saying that about him.
I
but
mean,
but uh,
Moses,
but but I understand understand that maybe the comments have been uncalled for. First, maybe he's trying to sell his book. I heard that his book is coming out in 2 months or 3 months time. So maybe he's trying to hype he's trying to hype
Yeah,
his book
most
because
likely,
he's
most
promoting
likely.
he has taken it heads on.
Yeah, yeah.
Secondly, I feel like Scott Pippen is like a KD playing that Warriors team, where this guy feels like you can't have MJ without Scott Pippen. Yet guys have been focusing so much on MJ without giving my due respect. Yeah, guys just mentioning me like maybe I was just another Draymond Green in that team. So I think that's what may be happening here, where suddenly this guy has hit that midlife crisis. These guys I just realized that I needed to milk out my talent. So maybe I think that's what's going through Scott Pippen because first he has been having his own issues. I think he has been having those family issues with the wife and all that. I don't know how bad it is.
yeah,
Uh,
it's
sec-
pretty bad. Malik Beasley is he was with Larsa Pippen. I mean, it was pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
it has been bad. Then I think that MJ series that mini series they did, I think it gave MJ too
Yeah,
much smoke, and I felt like Scott Pippen wasn't given too much which he deserved because in those 90s basketball, it was more like defensive minded basketball. And the same way you guys have said that even for LeBron, he needed superstars to take him home. Same thing with Steph Curry. He was surrounded with Clay Thompson. So you can't say that you'll have Steph Curry without having Clay Thompson. And the same thing likewise. You can't say that KD was going to win those back-to-back MVPs without Steph Curry and Clay Thompson. So I think this is where Scott Pippen suddenly realized that, look, MJ has been having very good PR with the media, Stephen A. Smith and the like, all those old folks. It's always MJ,
Skip
LeBron, MJ, LeBron.
Bayless.
But what about me? What about me? What about me? So if they're not going to listen about KD take on, now let me take to another high level. Let me play now the rest card.
I mean, Moses, let me just tell you one thing, right?
Yeah,
Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, they're on Fox. Undisputed is on Fox, right? Fox is a very
yeah,
huge network. A lot
yeah.
of Fox reaches so many households through the app, through the mainstream, and all that stuff, right? So when a guy like
Yes,
Skip Bayless elevates Michael Jordan, you know what happens? They try to denigrate a guy like Scottie Pippen. I mean,
true.
Skip Bayless has said so many bad things about, okay, so many untrue things about Scottie Pippen. He said, oh, Scottie Pippen, he was nothing without MJ. He contributed nothing to his legacy. Although Scottie Pippen won 6 titles, 6 rings, 6 championships, he did nothing for that team. I mean, he Skip Bayless used a marketing angle to sell the greatness of Michael Jordan at the expense of a guy like Scottie Pippen. So Scottie Pippen was the
True.
scapegoat for every mishap that the Bulls had. And when the Last Dance released, right, Scottie Pippen was just thrown
Yes.
under the bus and add to insult to injury. That guy signed a 7 year, 18 million. That guy was one of the best wing players Jordan ever had, right? He was being paid like below average, below average, mid level. You see,
Yeah.
a mid level player like
He
3 million a year. So
Like,
he
it
like
was
for
very
example,
underappreciated.
KCP in this Lakers roster.
eight
yeah.
million a year, eight.
Scotty Scottie Pippen didn't have smart people advising him. He took that contract way too early. I think he came from a background where he thought, wow, this is a lot of money. Let me take it. He wasn't thinking he was
No,
going to be a really good player in the future. So he took this
Scottie
money and he
Pippen.
was, yeah,
Oh, Scottie Pippen made a
You're right.
mistake
You're
by
right.
taking
You're right. You're right, my namesake.
even Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Bulls at that time, advised Pippen not to take that deal, but Pippen went ahead with it anyway. I mean, Pippen, at some point he shot himself in the foot because he was playing at a veteran's minimum salary at the expense of guys like Jordan. They play like that. Then Pippen got injured in the 1997 series. He rehabbed on company time. He didn't help the team. He got a lot of slander. That time there wasn't social media, but Jordan called him out. He said he was being selfish. When Jordan calls you out and say you're selfish, a lot of people look at you in a negative light. So I feel like
True.
Pippen is pretty salty, especially when he was thrown under the bus for the Last Dance documentary. The Last Dance documentary went to the whole world, right? So it's on Netflix, so the whole world saw it. So it portrayed Scottie Pippen in a very negative light, and he's not going to be remembered as a 6-time champion, a guy that wielded the Bulls to 6 titles. He's not going to be seen like that. And for the
And
record,
if
Scottie
yes,
Scottie Pippen led the Bulls in rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, all the other stuff. MJ was scoring, but the other side was Scottie Pippen. So cut him some slack, bro. I mean, but this comment that he made was bad. I mean, he took shots at KD. He's taking shots at Phil Jackson. It's not a good look for him.
true,
the
true,
last
true.
dance. I heard the last dance was controlled by MJ. So that whole production thing, like behind the looks kind of thing, it was all Michael Jordan controlling it. What was viewed on the last dance was Michael Jordan approved first and foremost. So it was to make him
Yeah,
look in a good light. So if there was a villain, it had to be another guy other than him. So it wasn't
I
really
think
portrayed. It wasn't the right. It wasn't the. I don't think it was the truth. I don't think it was 100% truth because it's based on one person controlling everything on that documentary. So that
I know.
last dance, I watched it, but I didn't take it as the Bible.
Okay, okay. So you're right. You're right. You're right, Moses. I think the thing is that for me, what I'm feeling like is that you're right in that Scott Pippen had poor advisors around him. So maybe during the 90s, if you're coming from a poor background, so maybe 18 million looked a lot of money during those days. So I didn't think they thought that NBA could grow into this massive economic empire which could now pay players maybe 200 million plus. But right now, people like Rudy Gobert is on a 190 something plus million contract. So no one thought by those days that NBA could reach those levels. And I think what worked well for MJ is that he had a good shoe deal. then his PR was so good. So I think even MJ as an individual was able to elevate ESPN to another levels, and this NBA media. So I think that's why I think NBA and ESPN are so much attached to MJ because he was able to elevate basketball to become a global event. But remember, you
Yeah.
couldn't have Chicago Bulls without that roster. You needed that roster because I remember even this guy who left Chicago Bulls because of the same thing that he felt that Bulls were not honoring his work on the court. So he joined Orlando Magic. And I remember that during those years that MJ took the sabbatical from basketball, Orlando Magic defeated Chicago Bulls, led by Scott Pippen. I'm just forgetting his name. He was there in that Netflix documentary. So, like he was trying to say that all those things that MJ was controlling that media narrative where their work was not being recognized on the court. Yet, when things went south, the one who were taking the bulk of the blame.
Yeah. The even for the 90s and even the 80s, MJ had a lot of power. It was almost crazy how much power he had in the NBA. Because for that documentary, like I was saying, that documentary, it wasn't really accurate for me. It was very biased and it was driven towards MJ. So I'm thinking Scottie Pippen is looking at his legacy right now and he's not happy. He's not happy at while looking back. He's not. He doesn't think people view him as what he's supposed to be viewed at. So
But
those
it's too late. It's
comments,
too late to change that.
yeah, it's too late. So he might come off as a bit salty, talking crazy about Phil Jackson. But for me, I think silence is the best thing he could have done. Just like time has already passed. There's nothing you can do right now. And if
Yeah, yeah.
maybe MJ kind of lowballed you, you just have to take it on the cheek and continue from there. Take it on the
That's true
chin.
I
because
mean,
if you look at most of NBA fans, usually their generation, like you'll get the NBA fans, Bulls fans during the 90s, then now early 2000, you had Shaq fans, then suddenly you had the Kobe fans till 2010s. Then now you are having LeBron fans dominating. So usually it's normal to have that era where like these casual fans who maybe they just follow their team so much, they'll tend to like do a lot of PR favoring their guy. Like sometimes you hear these texts by Kina Skip or Kina Steven Esme, and you question yourself, do this guy really watch basketball? Like they make some outrageous analysis or declarations based on maybe a single game. And I remember there's one day this journalist was saying that how can you be a fan of basketball when you're going to make one single conclusion based on one single game? So how can you call yourself a single fan? Because for you to make those conclusions, you must make at least consistent performance of a player over time to draw a conclusion. So, for example, you can say Steph Curry has been the greatest shooter of all time, but now this based on what he has done consistently for maybe the last 7 years. But you can't say that because now Joe Harris had one great regular season, now he's the second best great shooter the game has ever seen. It's like you never watched basketball during the 1990s. So I think that's usually now why the fans maybe now people like Scott Pippen need to understand that times have changed, times are moving, but fans tend to be seasonal. So it means I may be a true or a great fan of basketball during now this era, and maybe in the next 10 years I may take a back seat and I'll just start maybe. And you'll have now new young guys controlling the social media now again making their comments.
Yeah. The media definitely controls a lot of like it's
The
not really
narrative,
accurate. Yeah, the narrative.
I,
So if
I
the same
remember,
thing with LeBron James. Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
Say.
most as I told you. I remember most as I told you about about mainstream media. Like Fox is a very huge company. The
true.
Undisputed is the home of Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. You've got ESPN, the home of Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith. So these are very huge networks that reach so many people. So when they say a narrative that is wrong, it reaches the casual fan, and the casual fan eats it up. When someone like Skip Bayless stands in and starts saying LeBron is not the GOAT, the casual fan will eat it up. You know how media. I told you before. You know how this mainstream media works. When they just create a narrative for you, that's what the casuals take in. There's a part, even the NBA GMs watch that. When someone like Stephen A. Smith says, "I'll trade Andrew Wiggins for a bag of chips," NBA GMs are watching that, and they're not gonna give that guy his compensation in the league. So this is the problem. When they spread some, even Shannon Sharp himself was called out by KD when he said a fake quote about KD that are some fan said. He was called out of his
J Williams or Shannon Sharp.
inaccuracy. Both.
Jay
KD
Williams.
said KD said Shannon Sharp, why are you lying on me? Why are you lying on me, Uncle Shannon? Shannon Sharp blocked KD, right?
Okay.
Then Jay Williams, KD told Jay Williams, keep my name out of your mouth. So you see, this mainstream media, they try to, concoct narratives. And when you see, like, and for the diehard fan like me, when I hear someone say something outrageous, I wouldn't take it as serious as the casual. A casual just takes it, he doesn't watch the games, he
And
just
that's with
listen
it.
to, analysis. And that's what happens. When they eat it up, they say that that's the truth. When many people say a lie, many people say the same lie, it becomes the truth. When people say that LeBron is not the GOAT of this era, people eat it up. So that's the problem. When they spread lies, it reaches so many people that it's accepted as the truth. So that's the problem with guys like Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith. That's the problem.
And then this I think this ring culture has destroyed also the game, the fun of the game, because I don't think a team is going to repeat whatever Chicago Bulls were able to do during the 1990s, winning those three-peat twice within the same decade. It's very hard to do it.
Yeah.
So it built
Yeah.
up this poor ring culture, because remember even Kobe and Shaq, and they won those three-peat early 2000. But they didn't recognize the opportunity they had. They could have even won 5 or 6 if they wanted
Yeah.
to that time. But you
Yeah.
see, most players' egos don't allow them. Like I think media usually controls, because look at KD. KD at Golden State Warriors. No team
Yeah.
was going to be that team when they were healthy. But suddenly, media started feeding this narrative. Maybe it's a Steph team, GKD sensitive, and all this thing.
Yeah.
Because normally, if you've played any sport, I was a football player. Sometimes the emotion may get into you, and you may even call your teammate, even your best player, and not even the best player. You may call him out during the game due to just the emotions of the game. But doesn't mean that you don't rate your teammate or you disrespect him. So I think media took advantage of that Draymond Green and KD situation. They fed on it. Then suddenly, like, you have fans who are convinced that KD is not a great player, it's not a clutch player, what he could have taken them out of the box. Yes, this guy was balling. Like, if you're a true fan of the game, KD was really balling throughout this series. I remember this guy coming back from a very bad injury, hamstring injury, and Achilles injury. So how can you, a fan, just stand there and say that KD is not clutch? Because you hate KD because you like LeBron. You see, these are the narratives that the media have created, that you can't love LeBron and love Steph Curry as well
Yeah.
and love KD as well,
Yeah.
because you appreciate the game,
Yeah.
you appreciate the talent of the game. But the media
You,
are creating
you
this
have to
narrative
take a
where, like,
side.
if you're
Yeah.
if
You
you're a
have to take a
LeBron
side.
stan, you hate everything with Steph Curry, you hate everything with KD, you hate
Yeah.
PG-13, Kawhi Leonard. You can't appreciate their talent, which is so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, and to mention your point about teams not teams like currently would never be able to pull what the Chicago Bulls did in the 90s, because back then it was organizations were the ones who actually built the teams. So for a team to actually, I don't know, be dominant, it was a lot of credit was down to the organization to bring in the right
Drafting,
kind
huh?
of players, the right kind of coach. Yeah, drafting. You can even take a look at the Michael Jordan was really struggling with the Bulls. Then Scottie Pippen came. They drafted Scottie Pippen, brought some pieces, and then from there they just started dominating and just taking
True.
everyone on. And to another thing, right now the league is controlled by the players, so the players actually dictate. Like you saw the same thing with Kyrie and KD coming together and being like, "Hey, us, we're going to New York," and the Knicks were really trying to get them, and they actually just ended up going to the Nets and creating this super team at the Nets. And everyone was like, now the Nets are going to reach the final. It's a very player controlled at the moment, and a lot of players are powerful. As for KD, as for prioritizing rings over anything, especially legacy, I think that's a very big minus for me in the league, because I actually didn't celebrate when KD went to Golden State. I actually, as a fan, I was very disappointed. And in the end, if you actually followed it up, KD said that he didn't say this exactly, but he said in terms of when he was at Golden State, he didn't feel like he really belonged there. Like he didn't feel like he didn't feel like he belonged there during his whole time. Maybe in the first season he felt good, but when he was coming towards the end, he didn't feel like he would belong, and actually felt like maybe he kind of regretted it going to that team in that kind of manner. But other
True.
than that, prioritizing rings over legacy and over strong competition, I don't think I'll ever catch up with that, with what the current NBA is like, whereby players just come together and be like, hey, let's go to this team, we'll win a ring, as opposed to organization actually doing a lot of work to bring a lot of good players and actually doing your homework and knowing if I place this guy and this guy, and this is my starting five, build a good bench, we're actually going to play well.
I think you just
I
can't have
mean,
your you can sorry Nderitu, but I think you can't have your cake and eat it, because I think the challenge was that when franchises had the power to be in control of players, it was accepted as a business. So suddenly now when the players are having this power, now you have these owners who are feeling now this is so wrong, because just for example, just imagine the scenario where you're having Sacramento Kings, where now the franchise owner is or the management is they're not feeling to be competitive for the next maybe 3-4 years. So just want to continue tank. But don't you remember that we are wasting maybe this guy's talent for these 3-4 years, and career is not
Yeah.
guaranteed. This guy may get a very bad injury maybe next year, God forbid. So this sometimes where players are saying now, look, in those years before this thing, like someone like Allen Iverson, Sixers never gave me a great chance to be dominant or to take advantage of my talents. And now Detroit Pistons, which drafted so well, they were able to win, and they were also always in the runnings. Of course, we are now the Lakers and the Spurs and Pistons they won. But I'm saying that when franchises had the power to be in control, I think there are players also who suffer due to this, and they'll never be recognized because of the ring culture. But now suddenly, when players are now in control, again, same call again for that form of sobriety where it was right for KD to remain in OKC and maybe force the franchise to do better, maybe get a better coach, maybe get a better role players or veterans. Because I still believe that OKC team, if they could have just maintained Russell and James Harden, they were going to win in the long run, no matter what. So I think that's now where now players in a hurry where they need to get that thing so fast before anything else. So KD maybe felt that, look, let me get my 2 rings. These are guaranteed ring. Like if I join Golden State Warriors, it's guaranteed. There's no other way. Then after this, now I can go and now make my own legacy, whether it's Nets or where. So I think now this is where we are getting where even going to this new season, you'll get maybe players like Dame Lillard who have been loyal to the franchise. You may just feel okay. I now need to join a franchise where it's guaranteed I must win a ring. So after that, maybe now I can continue my career to retirement. So it has really created a very bad culture where, and it's being forced by the media, because if you listen to the likes of Stephen Smith and Skibeles, when they're speaking about CP3 career, it's always about these guys has never won anything. You can't compare with Isaiah Thomas. You can't compare him with these legends of the game. Because of what? Because of ring, not because of the game and the numbers that he has been putting. And if you look at someone
and
like
also Charles Barkley.
John Stockton of Utah
Charles
Jazz,
Barkley. Yeah.
or
And
John
also
Stockton
Charles
for Utah
Barkley.
Jazz, guys really talks about them because just of the ring. Yeah, these guys were really dominant during their times, but of course, they're Chicago Bulls.
I think as a player,
That's the whole thing.
the best thing, as a talented player, the best thing you can do is just put yourself in a situation where you at least you are competing season after season after season. I think the difference with what KD did was he put himself in a situation where it was almost guaranteed. You know, he had, like you see with the move AD did, he went from Pelicans, which was a team that is not competing at all, to the Lakers, which was he was looking at, if I join the Lakers, we have a big chance. But no one was saying like it's a slam dunk, the Lakers are going to win it. Oh, sure, their percentage went up, but it was different. So that's the only problem with the KD move, and that's what a lot of top players should probably not be looking at, going in that direction. Probably go in the direction AD went, where you put yourself in a strong team, where knowing if I add my qualities here, we at least have a higher chance. Instead of saying if I add my
Sure.
qualities here, we're taking it all. That's the only difference I
I
think
mean,
players in the future
KD's
need to do.
Moses, KD's move was
Yes.
polarizing
Yeah.
until the league's president, Adam Silver, had to add a veterans max player extension. Like they had to give this guy like a lot of money. You see, what happened with KD was this: KD, all the money that was being offered in the 2016 free agency, he was at the top of the free agency, but the money that he was being offered by OKC was the same amount of money that any other team will throw at him. So what Adam Silver did, if you're a veteran player and you're eligible for an extension, that is why you're given contracts like the one Yanis was given, like a 228 million or a 240 million, or like the one Damian Lillard signed, And also on the point of Damian Lillard, Moses, I remember in a previous stream I asked you if you had so if I was the if I Moses, this question is for you because I remember I asked you this question.
Mm.
The question was this: if you were the Sixers GM and I am the Blazers GM, then I tell you I want to do a deal centered on Ben Simmons, and what I'm going to give you is Damian Lillard. I remember you agreed to that deal, and the funny thing is, after that stream, a lot of rumors came in that Dame to the Lakers, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
some where did that come from? I mean, some of the YouTube channels that I was watching, that they keep propelling that. I mean, Damian Lillard wants out of Portland. As much as he says that he's loyal to Portland,
Mm.
he wants out. Then another situation is hitting the Sixers that they shouldn't pass up on this opportunity. Bro, what do you think about that move? Let me just ask again because I'm sure the dynamics have changed right now.
For me, I'm thinking Dame Lillard to the Lakers. It's kind of to the Lakers. It's kind of impossible. That one, I think, is just for the
Yes.
fanboys to get excited over because
Yeah.
Lakers has a lot of
Yes.
fans. But if Sixers, you saw Sixers lose an opportunity to actually get James Harden, and they had a really
Yeah.
strong chance of getting James Harden to the team, but they didn't want to like switch it up or like make a really significant change. And it's actually come to bite them in the end. So if an all-star guard is coming through and you have Ben Simmons here not giving you the consistent production that you want, so if Dame Lillard is available, go for it. Give up everything. They should be really, like I told you during that time. This is their time. This is their time to compete in the East. They should be at least making the finals, conference finals. This is their time. So you should not repeat the mistake twice. If Dame Lillard is available, if they want Ben Simmons, give them Ben Simmons. If they want a few draft picks, give them. You know, you should be looking to get Dame Lillard at his peak, at his right now the way he's playing, and I foresee Dame Lillard having a very good season next season. He's at his peak of his powers, so they should do everything they can. That should be the deal the Sixers are looking at. To bring in a top guard in the league and run it back.
Moses Opondo, what you think about the Damian Lillard situation?
Yeah. So my namesake is right in that I don't see how them leader to Lakers is working because of that salary and LeBron and the
Yes.
deal already on that salary. Secondly, as far as I know them, Lillard is someone who like to compete. So I don't think he'll prefer to go to already loaded team in AD and Lakers just for the sake of ring chasing. Yet this is what he has been fighting for most of his career. Unless he just said change his mind. So it may not work in terms of money wise and the draft, which Lakers they don't have. So you're right in that the Sixers have the right package because Sixers can throw in Simmons, they can give the Tyrese Maxey, they can give Shake Milton, then they can maybe add some draft, which is still hanging there, and for this trade to work out. And it will be also great for the Sixers because Joel Embiid has proven to be a superstar. And if you combine Joel Embiid with Dame Lillard, that's a very good backcourt and frontcourt, which can take it to the finals. But will it be enough against a healthy Nets? That's the only question I may ask. I don't think it may be enough against a healthy Brooklyn Nets. So, but I like that competition in the East. If you are having a Sixers which is now well matched against the Nets and the Bucks, for Lakers, I think Lakers maybe they can chase CJ because now the moment you trade Dame Lillard, it means you're tearing up the franchise. So Lakers may now put their focus. That's the best thing on chasing CJ. Or at worst, I think Nick Powell is also an underrated player. Nick Powell is a very good player. So I think Lakers they don't need so much to compete based on whatever I've seen in this postseason. Lakers just need to get a player who can get 20 buckets per night easily. The same way Clippers have Senior Morris. A player who can guarantee at least 20 points a night. And I think Nick Powell and maybe DeRozan has gone down. I don't know what happened to DeRozan. He has really struggled in San Antonio Spurs. So I don't think it's a player can rely so much going forward. But for Lakers, I think they just need to add a player who's underrated like Nick Powell. You pay him maybe well, and he's guaranteed buckets that he'll give you 18 to 20 buckets a night.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
true.
the
And
Lakers. The
also,
Lakers should be looking to get a lot of what do you call them? Our role players, a lot of better role players, not a superstar.
Okay.
the actually the Lakers can't even get any superstars. LeBron and AD they're tied to a max deals, and yeah, I mean AD signed that huge max extension, so Also, LeBron signed an extension of his own, so it's very difficult. But in other news, we've got other news coming in via Mark Stein of the New York Times. In the New York Times, says this, and I quote: Ben Simmons will not play for Team Australia in the 2021 Olympics because he will take the summer to develop more basketball skills. What do you guys say about that?
I don't know. That's very drastic by him because the summers are always free for him. So for him to not want to compete with his country to practice more, you could say it's more practice on working on his game, which all players are doing like in most summers. I think it's a very drastic call. He recognizes the image that people have about him at the moment. He's not very liked. People are really thinking he's not a very good player after all. He's just been all hype. So I think it's pretty drastic and unnecessary for him to say now I'm going to go work on my jumper and I'm going to go work on adding more skill. Like, dude, you've been in the league so many years, I don't know what that's all about. I think it's just a lot of unnecessary PR. But Ben Simmons, for me, I don't know what he has to do to convince me he's a top player once again. Because right now he's just overrated.
I mean, Moses, what do you have to say about that?
I can't say I can't say Ben Simmons is overrated. For me, I think he's not an elite player. That one you all agree. But he has the talent to be an elite player. The only thing holding back is the mental issue. That Ben Simmons, I saw Ben Simmons. I think there's a video circulating in the last summer where Ben Simmons was shooting jumpers in, in an
Yes,
open gym.
yes, I remember that.
And guys were making
Yes.
fun that Ben Simmons want to be given a free gym to shoot open jumpers without being guarded. And guys were really laughing with that comment. I think for Ben Simmons, I think this you can't convince me that an elite player on a maximum contract doesn't work on his jumper. There's no way. There's no way. So this guy really worked on his jumper during the off season. But now what happens during the regular season where this guy just goes back to zero? Because look, for example, at Lonzo Ball. When I looked at Lonzo during that season with the LeBron James, it reached a point where Lonzo was really afraid even to shoot basketball at any point. The only thing he could do was drive to
Yes.
the rim. And if you look at Lonzo this season with the Pelicans, his jumper has been so good. I don't know what he did to his jumper, but it has been so smoothless, without even hesitation when he's taking it. So I think maybe looked for someone who gave him maybe a psychologist or a sports psychologist or what. But I think that's what Ben Simmons need. Secondly, if Ben Simmons is going to take jumpers, he must leave the Sixers. He must leave that high pressure environment because Sixers on a win now mode. There's no process anymore. The time for process has gone by. Now it's time to win. So I think that's why I prefer this Dame Lillard Sixers trade, where Simmons can now go to Portland and get Chauncey Billups, who's an upcoming coach who maybe trust him more, maybe build up his mentality, and maybe after maybe 1 or 2 years, suddenly now Ben Simmons can be traded to a better franchise, or Portland can build now the franchise around him. So I think Ben Simmons must change the environment for him to succeed, for him to break this mental block which he has against taking jumpers. Because why do you have all that talent yet you don't want to use it?
I mean, I also agree with that. I mean, he just needs to, I mean, he shoots with the wrong hand. I feel he's a right-handed player. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if it's right or left. I mean, driving to the rim, he drives
He's
with
right.
right or left.
He's a
He's a
right-handed.
righty. He's a
Yeah, and he
righty,
shoots with
but
his
he shoots with
left.
his left.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
his jumper is just horrendous. I mean, I play basketball as well. I know about jumper, but damn, that one, it's never gonna go in any day, never.
Yeah,
And
like
also,
I have to agree.
yeah,
I have to agree that he needs a less pressure environment. Yeah, that's exactly what he needs. And I think the Portland Trailblazers have recognized that they're not really going to compete with the other teams right now. They should look to blow it up and just start over again. That team is not going to compete. So yeah, that would probably be the way to go for Ben Simmons. Go to a less pressure environment like Lonzo did. Lonzo, I'm looking at Lonzo next season is going to really improve. He's going to he's really improved this season, and he's going to gradually improve being in that less pressure environment. So the same thing should happen to Ben Simmons.
I mean, also in other news that are coming in, you remember? Okay, I'm referencing the last stream. You remember we talked about the remarks LeBron James made about this season. The whole gist of what he said was, the league was too short. There are too many games that are condensed with each other, and this is the reason why many of your great players are getting injured. So he didn't like that. So a guy in the name of Shaquille O'Neal, Shaquille O'Neal likes to troll, right? So Shaquille O'Neal responded
Yeah.
to LeBron James, although he did acknowledge he responded to LeBron James, but this quote was directly to LeBron James, right? And this is what he said via CNBC. So he said this, and I quote: "I don't make excuses. Real people are working their tail off, and all we gotta do is train 2 hours a day, play a game for 2 more hours a night, and make a lot of money. 40 million people have been laid off, and I'm making 200 million. I'd play back to back to back to back to back." This was Shaquille O'Neal, without naming any names, but you know that he was talking about LeBron James, on players in the NBA complaining about the 2020-2021 schedule. So you guys, what you have to say about that? Was okay. LeBron was talking about it in a player's perspective, but the league being condensed. The league has to make money and revenue, and the content that is supposed to be generated is through the games. So if the games don't happen, that's money getting lost. But there's a downside for that because LeBron was talking about players getting injured. So the games happening and also like the All Star game happening at the cost of the players getting injured. LeBron was speaking to that, but his comment was taken out of context. And guys, you know how the media works. They try to spin it. They try to make LeBron James the bad man, but he's the president of the NBPA, so he just tried to air out his views. But a guy like Shaquille O'Neal, he loves to troll, and that's what he said. And what you guys think about what Shaquille O'Neal said? Did he say things out of context, or what you guys think about that?
Like we talked about this last time. Like there's different ways you can look at this. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal has a point. Compare NBA players compared to the normal folks. A lot of lives were changed, and a lot of like people were let go. So an NBA player who you obviously NBA, you have a contract. Nothing's going to happen to you, even if I mean you're pretty secure financially. So to be asked to play an extra bunch of games because of this inconvenience, you can actually side with Shaquille on there and say, hey, you should not be complaining. You're actually this rich athlete who's very, very lucky compared to like 99% of like the population. But also LeBron has a point. If you ask, because these players have really been missing a lot of star players, and we're missing them up until now. Kawhi Leonard, we missed a healthy LeBron. AD kept going down over and over, and a bunch more. Also, Harden not being 100% healthy.
Hello, Moses, you're on mute. No, no, the other Moses in the middle. Oh, hello, guys, are you there? Guys on the stream, are you guys there? Moses, okay, let me. Moses, are you on the stream? I don't know. There's a technical issue. I'm gonna just try to get these guys back in here. Moses, oh, there's a
Yeah.
glitch somewhere.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Okay, let me bring you guys back in, and we just pick it up. We're almost about to conclude. Okay, so Moses is backstage. Let me just let me put in.
Okay.
Okay, just go ahead, go ahead.
Like I was saying, I don't know how much of that you heard. I was just saying, on this back and forth between Shaquille and LeBron. I don't think there's actually a wrong because both of them actually have a point. But yeah, you can say athletes are some of the richest, some of the luckiest people on earth because they have these big ass contracts with pandemic or no pandemic, they have these big ass contracts that they have to honor. So there are a couple of games was added to their schedule and they got injured. It was unfortunate, and maybe we missed out on a lot of seeing our star players play in the playoffs. So I don't know what more I can say about this back and forth between these two guys.
Let me bring Moses back up. Moses, can you hear me?
Okay, I'm facing some challenges. I don't know what's happening in the voice.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. You can hear
Yeah,
me
can
now.
hear you.
Okay, you
Okay. Cool. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think Shaq is Shaq because one thing I know, Shaq is LeBron's friend, and Shaq took that moment to side with the normal person. But I think as a pro athlete, what LeBron was trying to say that for them, because they're playing professional basketball, they must condition their body to adjust to the high level performance during the whole year. So I think all of them are writing that Shaq is trying to say that, look, you guys in a better position financially, so you should not complain so much. But LeBron is saying that, like, you can clearly say that, for example, Lakers lost to a healthy Phoenix Suns, or Bucks, a full healthy Bucks were able to defeat a full healthy Nets. So you can really engage someone and say that, look, Bucks play so well. But right now, due to these injuries, you can't really tell. So guys will always question the rings and all that. I know where LeBron is coming from, but they had to do it because apparently, according to those media contracts agreement, they had to fulfill at least some certain games. They had to play certain games for them to maintain that CBA payment to players. So this was a sacrifice by players to continue getting their package. So they shouldn't complain a lot. That's what Shaq is trying to say.
Okay. Okay. As much as I would like to side with the players, I mean, they're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to play this sport, and the NBA needs to pay its owners and also like generate revenue so that they can sustain the league as well. So if games don't happen, that's content that's money that's being lost. So I know it's gonna come at the expense of players getting injured or a player like missing significant time because of an injury. But that's the cost that you have to that's the cost the league has to pay, especially when it comes to getting the games, getting a condensed schedule. So I mean that's that, and I don't have much to add on that, but we're almost getting to the end of the show. But before we end the show, I would like you to guys to predict. Okay, so we have the Milwaukee Bucks versus Hawks game 4. It's gonna happen today. Okay, tomorrow in the morning. So I only need you guys to predict that game and also predict the Clippers versus Suns game. Then we wind up a bit. So Moses, please take in and throw your predictions here. Bucks, Hawks, Clippers, Suns for the next game.
Okay, so for the Bucks versus the Hawks, for me the Bucks have figured it out. I've figured out to beat the Hawks. With Giannis going over playing at the five so that he can actually switch on the Trae Young pick and roll. So the Bucks haven't figured it out, and Middleton kind of finding his groove, and we're expecting him to continue with his great performances. So for me, it's Bucks. Bucks are winning that game, and from there they're going to take the series and reach the finals. That's what I'm predicting. For the Clippers versus the
Okay.
Suns, that's going to be a very hard one. That's a very good. I don't know. Was I supposed to predict both of them at the same time, or was I just supposed to go one by one?
Predict both of them and
Yeah.
predict the Clippers and Suns are going to game 6, right? So predict
Oh,
game
game
six.
six. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, game 6. Who do you
Yeah.
think is
So
gonna win, Clippers or Suns?
that's actually pretty hard because that's very hard. Wow. So for me, I'm looking at history. History dictates that Tyron Lue is doing very well when he comes from a losing position, and CP3 teams usually struggle when they go 3-1 up. So for me, I'm saying the Clippers are going to come out again and try to force a game seven. They're definitely going to go to game seven. That's a very competitive series. It can't end at game six. So the Clippers are going to take it, regardless of whether Paul George has a big game or not. So that's my prediction.
Okay, Moses, you have the floor as well. Give us your prediction on the games.
So I'll start with
Bucks,
the Phoenix
Hawks,
Suns.
Clippers, Suns.
I'll start with the Phoenix Suns against the Clippers. Phoenix in 6. I think Monty Williams is going to make adjustment. It's going to play heavy Cameron Payne minutes to increase the tempo. Then now CP3 can rest, so that now when they need him to be clutch in the fourth quarter, he shall have the energy. Because remember, COVID is really a tough illness, so I think it has messed up CP3 conditioning at the wrong time. But I think Monty Williams is going to try to speed up the pace of the game early in the first 2-3 quarters, then so that you can work out Paul George, Morris, and Jackson to spend most of the energy in the first 3 quarters. Then now in the fourth quarter, now when the game is slowed down, now it's bucket for buckets. Suns, Booker, and CP3 is going to come through for the Phoenix Suns, because they don't want to go to Game 7. Game 7 is it's a dangerous territory to go to. So Phoenix Suns in 6. For Bucks, I think they have the advantage. They made the right adjustment, and again they're lucky that Trae Young got injury. Yes, that he stepped on a official and sustained that bruised bone, soft tissue injury. So Hawks are not healthy. Bucks have gotten the momentum. They're going to win the game 3.
Also, for me, my prediction is Bucks are gonna win game 4. I feel like they figured it out finally, and I believe in the fear the deer. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. I believe in that trio. They're gonna get this thing done in 5, and I pick them to win game 4. And the Clippers versus Suns. Although I'm a Lakers fan, I'm gonna go with the Clippers to win game 6 to force a game 7. So that's all I gotta say. And with that, I'm gonna conclude. I just want to say I'm very grateful you guys showed up for the stream. You're welcome. I'll be. I hold. The next stream will be on Friday, God willing. Just to
Okay.
check on this game and yes, tomorrow's game. So be be sure to tune in. You're welcome to the channel, Moses and Moses Pondo. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yes. This is
Yeah,
a
Mkumbuke,
great.
yeah.
This is
karibu
a great. This
sana.
is a great.
I will make sure to be informing you for the stream beforehand. Yeah, and we meet in, we just talk about the game, and yeah, man, tuendele kusonga. We just talk about it. It's good to talk about the
Yeah.
game, and through this platform, we can talk about the game, and yeah, man, you're welcome to the channel. And anytime, Nico, anytime I'll be live, I'll be dropping a link for you guys to come in and chop it up a bit. So yeah.
I
Okay,
appreciate that.
no problem.
Thank you, Nderitu, for hosting us. This is my first time joining you guys. At least now we have NBA fans who are coming up. I think we
Yeah,
can tap on each other so that we can become ardent fans of the sport.
yeah.
Yeah, we can make our own community right here. So NBA, as in, you can come in and talk about you can have a space. This is a platform where you can just talk about the game, and yeah, man, that's the thing.
Yeah, man. We'll see how the games go. Very excited to see how the Phoenix and the Phoenix game and the Bucks game go. Yeah, can't wait for Friday.
I'll, okay, so I'll schedule the stream beforehand, and Friday evening same time we'll meet here, and yeah, man, we just chop it up. We just see what's gonna happen. So even in the finals we'll have a live stream after each game to see like what's gonna go down. It's a lot of stuff in the future. So yeah, man, I'm so
All right.
glad you guys showed up. I'm glad you guys showed up. Yeah, it's a blessing. uh Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, you're free to exit the stream. Okay, so that's that, and I got my two friends there, Moses and Moses Opondo. I mean, they're a great stream, and yeah, man, I just think the Clippers can do it. I just feel the Clippers can force a game seven. I'm gonna pick them to win game six, and also the Bucks figured it out, and I feel like they can win this game four and also game five. So I feel like we we can do something. I'm seeing Rasgal on the chat. Oh, you can also join the panel. Let me. I already dropped the link. So okay, let me just drop the link for you. Let's see. Let's join the panel. Come up real quick. I just dropped the link. Okay, Rasgal, come up. So I just wanna talked about the game. I just had a lot to say, and I'm confident. I'm just confident in the selection that I picked. I'm just confident in my predictions. I feel like the Clippers can win this game, and also the Bucks can win this other game and beat the Hawks in five. I mean, just beat them Hawks in five. That's all I can say about that. And just eager to see what type of game can we have next in the finals. I mean, what new teams can we have? So that's my motivation. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for them teams. And yeah, man. I don't know what to say at this point. The Rasgal is on the. Let me just add that to the stream.
Ain't Nderitu.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm fine.
I just wanted to say that your stream was really good. I came in on the end, but I keep coming to it because I love basketball. I played basketball in college and after that as well. So I'm always listening to it. My pick for the playoffs was Boston Celtics. So that's about it for me.
I mean, the Celtics got beat in the first round by the Brooklyn Nets. So
I know. I said it was my pick. They've always been my team for years. Yeah. I was driving from work, so
hello.
I'm trying to pull over so I can give you a good thingy. But yeah,
Okay.
what time is it there?
It's 10:29 p.m. It's actually at night. It's actually at night. You see the night.
Oh, okay. It's
It's at
three
night.
o'clock here in the afternoon.
Oh, it's not. It's the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Oh
I'm in
man.
Houston, Texas. So yeah. But thank you.
Nice. I love the Houston. I love the Houston Rockets. Actually,
Yeah.
my team before they blew. They were my team before they blew it up.
Well, I just definitely want to come and bless your panel. Thank you for inviting me. And every time I catch you live, I'll be in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, they're just trying to make a basketball community right here, and I'm just trying this new platform. I've never used it as much, and this year I just said, let me just give it a try, and let's see what's gonna go down with it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what
you're
I gotta
definitely
say at
doing
this point.
good.
And,
You're definitely doing a
and
good
also,
job.
I also got some guys on the panel. I mean, the first time I was doing it, I was all alone, and I try to, get my friends to come in. I try to, call them. I actually called one of my friends. I was like, "Yo, I'm having a live stream. I would just want you to join." And he agreed. And also this other guy, I met him on Twitter. They created their own space. So what I did was I just went to that space and I told them, okay, I have live stream. I talk about the game. They actually didn't know about my channel, so I just told them, okay, I've got this. I got my channel. I just talk about basketball, and I just want you guys to come in and let's talk about it. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. Yeah,
You
I
guys
just
do
want
a
to
good
create a
job. Y'all come with stats, great opinions, good support and information for those opinions. So I definitely agree with a lot of things y'all say. But I enjoy it. I enjoy hearing about basketball. I love it that much. I watch it all day long. I'm always on ESPN. So yeah.
For me, like even this game that's gonna happen, it's gonna happen like in the morning, the wee hours of the morning. Like
For
let me
you.
check the app. For me, for me, like this game is gonna happen at let me see, you see, 3:30
3:30. Wow.
a.m. a.m.
Wow.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the game I'm supposed. So this is the game I'm supposed to watch. 3:30 a.m.
That's like 7 here or 6 p.m., something like that. Yeah.
I mean, it's sometimes like right now I have to. Okay, I think I have to go to sleep, or I just have to set the alarm at like 2 2 a.m. so I can wake up and watch the game. So
It's
sometimes
for the
I
love
like
of
sleep.
basketball. You can do it.
I love the game. The game is good. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for any other thing. And
Hmm.
yeah, I loved the game of basketball. I've been watching it since I was a little since I was small. It's just
Yeah.
that I decided to go. It's just that I decided to go to go to YouTube with it this year. But I've been following the league on Twitter. I used to be on the NBA Twitter, especially in 2012, 2013, 2014. I used to tweet about the league a lot. On my
Hmm.
Twitter is like 80. In my Twitter is like 81,000 tweets, and most of them like 50
Wow.
percent. Like 50% is the NBA. So I mean, yeah, it's
Wow.
the
That's
NBA mostly.
yeah.
Like
That's a lot.
let me let me pull it up. I mean, I just love the game. I mean, let's see. Like you see, it's 81,000.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's
You do it.
81,000. There are a lot of tweets. I just talk
Hmm.
about the game as much. So it's just that I
I
decided to go
started
to
playing
YouTube and
basketball when I was 5. And I basically used it as a vehicle to get me through college here in the States. And I played college basketball and all of that. So my daughter is 5 now and she's starting to play basketball and soccer. So I'm super excited about that.
I mean, I also even have an insane jersey collection, like like basketball jerseys, shoes, sneakers. I just keep
Wow.
collecting. I actually just keep collecting them. I mean, right. Okay, I just love the game. I actually today I played a game with a couple of friends. It was like
Hmm.
a 3-on-3. I played a 3-on-3 before I came into the stream, so that time at some point at the start of the stream, I was like a bit gassed out, but I just tried to, just get back.
Well, definitely when you come to the States, hopefully Houston will be your first stop. I'm going to take you to a Rockets game.
Yeah, but I'm gonna okay. But coming to the US, I will in the near future. I already have my passport set. I only need like how much like an air ticket right now it costs like it's $1,200
Oh,
to
that's
fly to the
nothing.
US.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's $1,200 for right here. For me, for me right here in shillings, it's like 120,000. It's one
Oh,
hundred twenty
okay.
thousand. So I have to get that kind of scratch, but it's not impossible. I can get that money and fly in. It depends on
Hmm.
which time of the year. It depends on which time of the year I'm gonna fly in. This time it's gonna be like 800,000. I no not 800 $800 $900. Sometimes it's that
Hmm.
range. It's like in the off
Yeah.
peak,
Oh,
but if
yeah.
it's
Like the
like those
summer.
like if it's gonna Christmas, Christmas, they're gonna hype it up to like 200,000
Exactly.
2 grand. So yeah, but I can. But if I go to an off peak and I choose a like a good flight agency, they can make an air ticket for like $900 and I'll be there in JFK.
Hmm.
There are direct flights from Nairobi to JFK. So yeah,
Oh, okay. That's New York. Yeah.
so I can just
Well, we
land in
can't
New
wait.
York, then yeah, then I'll be there. But I'm hopeful. I'm a travel there. I mean, not once, not twice. I mean, many times. I'll make sure I get there anyway.
We're going to continue our drive on Kevin and Sales to get you to come visit over here.
But I think okay. I don't know if you knew that, but me and Kevin and Sales, we ain't talking. We ain't talking as much. I mean, there's this thing that happened in the YouTube channel, like a video, like a week ago, and it didn't go pretty well. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
there's this thing. There's a lot of name calling. I mean Kevin and Sales, Lebuto. I mean, we fell out a bit, but I'll be
Well,
back.
he did
I'll be
say
back.
on the show that you can definitely come back and it wasn't personal. He said that on the show in case you wasn't watching.
Oh,
Yeah.
he said that? I mean, I didn't.
Yes.
Okay, I was actually pretty. I didn't want to say that I was pissed off, but I actually really blocked him from everywhere. I mean, on
Oh,
Instagram,
no.
everywhere. So I mean, I'm just okay. Next stream, maybe I'm just show up, but you know
That's
how
the
feelings.
norm, Nerdito. Don't get upset. That's like the norm. You just got to defend yourself. And then they get over it. And that's it.
Now I'm okay. I'm actually okay with it. I have
Yeah.
no problem with it. Actually, I was actually pissed off that time because it was like, man, this guy is targeting me or something. Actually, at that time I was pissed off, but when I slept on it, I just got over it. So I didn't see that
Yeah.
stream where he said I'm invite. I didn't see that stream that said I was welcome back. I
Welcome.
don't.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
It was about 2 or 3 days ago. He did a stream, Africans against African Americans. So he definitely said you could come back, and he apologized
Ah, he
for the
mentioned it. I'm
plebber.
gonna go back and watch. I'm gonna go back and watch that video. But
Yeah.
hey, I mean, it was pretty heated anyway. So
Hmm.
it was pretty heated. We said some few insane things about each other. I call him this, he called me that. I mean, I try to it was just a back and forth with him.
I
So,
didn't
but
see
hey,
it. I'm glad I didn't see it. So that's a good thing.
I think
But you
I
just
think
focus
it
on
got
yourself.
banned. I think it got
And
banned, but
focus on your show. And we're going to keep coming over here to support you as much as we can.
yeah, man. Okay, okay. Yesterday they were live, but don't tell them. But I actually saw the stream, but I didn't comment or anything. I was just on YouTube. I just saw the stream, so I
Hmm.
didn't do it. So they didn't know if I was there. So, but I
Yeah.
watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't
Well, we
comment
want
or
to see
anything.
you back. We love your input on the panel.
I didn't know like I was that significant anyway. I
Yes.
didn't know.
Yes.
Well,
It's always a blessing
I
to meet
remember.
other it's always a blessing to meet other black people from across the world and to build some type of solidarity if possible. So being on a panel is great experience and exposure for all of us all the time to communicate and learn about each other.
Yeah, but what are the odds of me even meeting you? I mean, it was slim to nothing. I mean, I wouldn't. I didn't think it would happen, but we're connected through the
Yeah.
internet.
Exactly.
I
Well,
mean,
it was definitely
it
nice talking to you. I got to get back to work, but I did want to come back and say hi to you.
no problem. I actually ended the stream, but hey, this just the after hours thing. I thank you for dropping by as well.
Yeah,
It's very much appreciated. And if you feel like you want to talk basketball, you're always welcome. Or if you've got friends that want to talk about it, just make sure to just tell them about my channel. They can come
I
and
will.
talk about it. Just make sure you share it, share it, do all that great stuff.
I will. Nice to see you again. Have a good day. Have a good evening.
All right,
Bye.
have a good day as well. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh man, so that was Razgal. I met her and Kevin in sales and Libudo. I'm gonna just check out that show real quick. So if you guys like the stream, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comment section down below. What you think about the stream, man? Support your brother. Support your boy. Dennis Nderitu, yours truly, live at Nderitu Basketball HQ. Do all the great stuff. Like the stream, share the stream. Make sure to subscribe to the notification post. Leave a comment down below on what you think. And with that being said, man, I'm out. Peace.